On April 28, 2025, I released a video about al-Zutt, a strange people described as tall, naked, and lean that met with and mounted or rode the Muslim prophet Muhammad all night long in a remote desert spot. Yes, and as I mentioned then, the Arabic word used in that hadith, yarkabun, means to mount or ride, and carries the same dual meanings in English. In formal usage, it means to mount or ride, for example, a horse. And in slang, it means to mount or ride, typically a woman, but in the current example, a man. Anyway, I have since come to learn that the ZUTT have become something of a household name, or what they call a meme. Now, to be sure, this was never my intention. If you watch my original video, you'll see how I explain at the very start that the only reason I was documenting that troubling hadith was in the context of a debate I was then involved in concerning Muhammad's existence. My point being, if Muhammad was a made-up figure, meant to be revered as a noble prophet, why would those making him up create such unflattering stories surrounding him? At any rate, since that video, I have been bombarded with questions from viewers about Muhammad and his sexuality, if there are other hadiths or accounts. What about hadiths against homosexuality? How do they fit in? Etc., etc. So I've decided to respond by making this mini-series aptly titled the ZUTT Chronicles. My purpose is threefold. First, and as mentioned, to efficiently respond to those many questions I've been receiving. Second, and more importantly, to offer an authoritative account on Islamic sexuality, based as it is on Muhammad's own sexuality, which we will be examining in great detail. Finally, and similar to why I made the original ZUTT video, I'm creating this series to look at the many contradictions of the hadith, how the ulama, Islam scholars and sheikhs try to reconcile them, and how it all manifests in Muslim societies and practice, which of course is an important question, not least as Islam's presence continues to grow in the West. To reiterate, I'm not doing this to poke fun at Muhammad or mock Muslims, which if you followed my work over the last 2 decades, most of which does not deal with Muhammad at all, you'll know it's not something I care to do. In fact, the last time I did a deep dive into Muhammad's, how shall we say, interesting sexuality was in a 2009 article I wrote titled The Perverse Sexual Habits of the Prophet. And, as it happens, virtually all of the hadiths we will be examining in this series were first brought to a Western public in that 17-year-old article. For a sneak preview of what we'll be looking at, feel free to check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Okay, brace yourself and get ready for the ride. No pun intended.